The big COVID challenge has hit home again this morning for another Australian state. There's been a relatively big jump in cases in Victoria. And today marks the 200th cumulative day that Melbourne has been under a lockdown since COVID arrived in Australia. Just before we go to our report, we'll take a look at what's happened with those Victorian case numbers over the past month or so. So Victorian authorities were able to get that previous outbreak down to zero, but then these new cases started popping up and the daily case detection stuck stubbornly around 20 over the past several days before this concerning jump today. But there are some caveats on that. Reporter Talia Alatia joins us now from St Kilda in Melbourne South. Talia, g'day. So take us through these figures and the relatively positive aspects to this.
Yeah, absolutely, because I know, Joe, that a lot of people would have seen that 57 number and their heart would have stopped a little bit. There have been 57 local cases, 54 linked to other outbreaks, 3 mystery cases, 44 in isolation while being infectious. So that's 77% of those 57 cases. And the reason why there has been such a big jump is because for a lot of people, it was day 13 of their isolation. And when I say a lot of people, I mean the staff, students and those connected to the Autaqua College in Truganina who went into their own quarantine 2 weeks ago. And so a part of that, getting out of quarantine is getting tested again. And authorities were expecting the jump. They were kind of preempting it yesterday in the press conference because we have to remember that there were 10,000 close contacts to that, that school. And so when you look at 10,057, it's not as bad. But of course, we will get more detail during the press conference this morning.
And where's focus for testing at the moment?
So authorities are really focusing their attention to Melbourne's inner southeast. So we're talking St Kilda, Caulfield, Middle Park. Here in St Kilda, there are 15 mystery cases, and the only thing that is linking them is the fact that they are here in this area, which is why authorities are encouraging people who live here, who work here, or who have been in St Kilda in the past few days to come forward and to get tested, regardless of whether they have symptoms. Behind me at the Palais Theatre, they've opened up a COVID testing site, and you can tell by the horns honking and the people lining up that lots of people are listening to exactly that call. And there's a real concern in this area for the vulnerable community. There are multiple sites over on Grace Street that affect the homeless community. So there's a dinner hall that feeds the homeless. There's a women's a shelter place where women go to, and a crisis centre as well, which is why authorities are really focusing their attention to this Bayside area at the moment.
Yeah, and today's the 200th day that Melbourne has been in lockdown cumulatively since the start of the pandemic, is it?
Yes, and let me assure you, we have felt every single one of those 200 days. It started back on March 30 at 11:59 in 2020, and I don't think anyone would have expected what the next 17 months would unfold. We are currently, of course, in lockdown 6 that is due to finish on September 2nd, so we know that we have at least another 14 days to add to our lockdown tally. But again, the authorities are saying the how we get out of lockdown is people get tested, they identify the they identify the cases rather, those links to those cases, they reduce community transmission, and that's how we get ahead of the virus and then, fingers crossed, finally be able to get out of lockdown as well.
Cool, and good to see that you're able to get through this live cross without too much honking. Okay, Talia Alatila reporting there from Melbourne.